Marissa Sherrick here at New Product Launchpad, and I'm here with Nathan Mellor, the creator of BackCountry Navigator. Nathan, what can you tell us about your product?
Well, BackCountry Navigator is for the people who want to go outdoors, and they are going to use just their phone and be able to download maps before they go out into the wild, have those maps available when they're navigating, whether they have cell coverage or not, be able to record their path and any points of interest along the way, and then and see that all when they come back to civilization.
Okay, so this app is for when you would usually not have cell service, going through a mountain or riding a mountain bike through a trail. What are kind of the reasons people would come to your app?
Well, people appreciate just the variety of maps. When we're in the outdoor navigation space, just having something like Google Maps where it's map or satellite isn't good enough. And there's all kinds of maps that people can use. A combination of topo maps, which there are several varieties, and sometimes aerial photography, which we usually call satellite on Google Maps. So Forest Service maps or topo maps of other areas, and based on several government sources, especially New Zealand. Even New Zealand government has a very good map source that we use in BackCountry Navigator. And some people also like the overlays, which are kind of boundary maps or trail maps that we add on to the map, so you can see extra data about your area of interest.
Okay, so how would people go about getting these maps onto their phone?
Okay. Would you like to kind of see a demo of that?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we uh, here's something where we're kind of just browsing a map, and you're probably used to doing that on Google Maps or something. Uh, but you may want to you're finding a place that you would like to explore. You can do that through here. But once you're centered on the place, you can take a look at where you're going to be, and it won't take too long. You can say select areas for download, and we'll kind of mark it like that, and then start the process of downloading it. We'll download in the background. So if it does happen to be a long or a large map that's going to take all night, you can let it run overnight. But some of them will be done in 10 minutes or whatnot. And then when you go out into the wild, that'll already be there.
Okay. So you can download custom areas?
Correct. Correct. You can mark the basic function is rectangle, but you could, in many cases, you can, or people will want to. People will want to mark multiple sets, and it might not be a regular area, but you want to get coverage of everywhere you're going. It'll look something like that.
So you can take of a bigger map, you can take the sections that you will be going through and have that when you're off cellular service and have that with you while you're going through the track.
Correct.
Okay. And you also said that you can make your own path. Is that just
Correct.
like a simple process of like clicking of like what trail you're gonna go on?
You can do that, and this is one case where you can actually measure and draw items and kind of get an idea of how they are. That often you are kind of importing something, and I'm going to show you here. Just these points are from the Pacific Crest Trail, and that somebody took longer to do that. You can import that using a GPX file or something. And as we zoom in here, we see something that's been marked already. We have potential campsites and places where there's water and just the mile markers of how far you've gone on the trail. So if you started at Mexico and you got to here, you're gone about 2,227 miles. I haven't hiked that far, but there are people using BackCountry Navigator who've hiked this far.
Okay. So that the custom data is a great way to save on space. Is there any others?
The other way you can save space is by the use of vector maps, and in this case, you can get a whole state within less than a few gigabytes. And I can show you here. This is a map of Oregon, and you can zoom out and see basically the whole map of Oregon. But you can also zoom in and see varying levels of detail along the way. And the advantage of this, you're seeing multiple resolutions, but you're not going to spend as many gigabytes on your storage card as you would with an image-based map, which most maps are. And we're hoping to expand on this in our next generation, have this for all of the world, and have it easy to download a big section of the world.
Okay. And so you don't have to sacrifice information.
Correct. As you zoom in, you can see more information, and you can see zoom in a lot more than you could with an image without it being stretched.
Nice. So you were talking about the new generation, and that's what this Kickstarter is about. Can you tell us more about your Kickstarter?
Yes, we're looking for BackCountry Navigator has been the top app on maps and navigation app on Android for some time. And the next generation is called BackCountry Navigator XC. We're going to expand this to multi-platform, and that is something that will run on iOS, something that will run on Android, and also that will run in your browser in the web to plan ahead and see the same data that you'd see on your mobile phone. And we looked at what users would want most in a new generation, and so the things they wanted. One of the things they wanted the most was just to have a central website to plan and share their trips, and some other things were just expanded use of vector maps to cover the world in large areas, and some other things they wanted are just more variety of maps, even than before, and a variety of overlays, which you add data to the map with, and you can see boundaries and trail maps, and usually from government data. So we are going to be able to accomplish all that, and through the Kickstarter, we're getting people to invest in it early, so that they'll be ready for it when it comes.
Okay. Is there an advantage over having a website where you can download the maps? I know you said that people asked for it, but what are the advantages of having a website to go to?
Okay. Well, in this case, we saw something, and what we just saw of the Pacific Crest Trail is a pretty big undertaking. People are not usually going to plan something that advanced on their phone. They want a bigger screen and a mouse and a keyboard to kind of create that sort of thing much faster. And in order to do that, if you can do that within your browser and have that same on your mobile screen, then you're saving a lot of time working on a small screen. And when you're actually out in the wild, you can just focus on what's already there, without you might necessarily see all of that at once, but you can get a much better overview on a browser, and the close-up view is much better on your phone.
Okay. So what made you want to build this product?
Well, for me, I got started in this. I was a software engineer. I worked for Hewlett Packard for about 12 years before I was downsized. At that time, I took on kind of what had been my passion and goal to create an online business, and also the fact that I've been passionate and excited about the outdoors and maps for most of my life. And I learned how to navigate on topo maps with compass, and GPS back in the scouting days, and now I've gone on scouting trips, and I teach that to the next generation of how to read maps and navigate. And today we have mobile devices which are capable of doing that and doing it simpler and with a lot more flexibility than you had in the past.
Nice. So this Kickstarter has been going on for some time. What are the perks?
People now can still pre-order, and in some cases they're ordering up to 5 years subscription of the product, and there's three levels based on what kind of maps you want to use. So you're still able at this time to get about 30% of what you would pay if you waited for the product to come out. Plus, there's some added perks in kind of virtual currency, which if there are overlays or prepared maps that cost extra money, and there are some, then you can buy those with virtual currency, and you can get some of that free with your order in the Kickstarter.